But that's all finance stuff. So I think this is legal finance. So
I'm just asking.
Some people down there were gonna let them go in and out of their gate, take their campers out, and then they told me, no, they're not, and nobody can bring something out on them. So, what is it?
I think the main point we got across is just that oh, I see. Like as a lot. That's usually how they do it. That's usually how they do it back in my home where government's taking over like land.
I'd like to call the meeting to order today for the Rapid City Public Works Committee for Tuesday, May 13th. May we have a roll call and determination of quorum, please?
Robert.
Here.
Pettigrew.
Here.
Lehman. Sechrist.
Here?
Ham. Quorum.
Thank you. Can we have an adoption of the agenda, please? We'll move into the general public comment. I have three speaker request forms here. And this is a time for members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the committee on any issue not limited to items on the agenda. Action will not be taken at the meeting on any issue not on the agenda except by placement on the agenda by a unanimous vote of the council members present. And as a friendly reminder, you have 3 minutes to address us. So the first speaker request is from Lionel Campbell? Linnell, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Maybe state your name and address for the public record, please.
Very good. My name is Linnell Campbell, and I live at 1510 Copperfield Drive. And I'm reading this letter for Sandy Cooper, who is another resident in Copperfield. Good afternoon. I'm Sandy Cooper, and I live in Copperfield. Like the rest of the good people of Copperfield, I am following the directives of my city and moving garden beds, sheds, and other so-called encroachments onto my property. Today I spent $2,000 to have a healthy 30-year-old tree removed from my yard to make room for a raised garden bed with an attached hail shelter that currently sits outside my property line. The city will never use that so-called drainage easement that's about 190 feet wide by about a half-mile long. The city has never maintained it, nor the county before them. My neighbors and I do, mowing, killing weeds, picking up trash, disposing of drowned branches in the drainage ditch, and maintenance of the walking path we fashioned out of the tree-lined areas along the rolling landscapes. It's quite pretty back there. We are the East Side Copperfield Drive Beautification Committee. But the city thinks that parking anything directly behind our homes is somehow a danger for flooding. You know what it is a danger for flooding? Golf courses, city parks, community gardens, a polo field, the fairgrounds, and anywhere that Rapid City meanders through Rapid City. There's no danger of flooding. Come out and take a look, please. We know it's not our land, but we are the caretakers of it. Next, sheds have to be brought inside property lines to include an 8-foot setback. We have huge objections to this. In Copperfield subdivision alone, there are probably more than 100 sheds that aren't in compliance. Across Rapid City, there are probably thousands not in compliance. If you require us to move sheds that have been in place for decades, we must insist that you require everyone in Rapid City to move their sheds to be in compliance. We respectfully request that sheds be allowed to stay where they are. If they must be moved, don't make us put them in any further than inside our property lines. Are your sheds or your neighbor's sheds in compliance with the setbacks? Thank you.
Thank you. The next request is from Jill Genowin. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. Jill Genowin. I spoke at the city council meeting and addressed Lindsay and others this last Monday, and I gave a petition with signatures from the neighborhood this last week, and I wondered if I could leave some of this information with you as well, so you have it. I live at 1502, have been a tax-paying resident of 1502 Copperfield for 2.5 years. And as such, I come here to address this issue of code enforcement of the drainage easement between Copperfield and Concourse Drive. On April 12th, we on Copperfield Drive on that east side got a letter from John Olson saying that we have to have all of our property removed by May 31st from behind our homes that was on city property. I thought this was addressing the campers and the boats and vehicles that have been parked back there for years. But then a week later, when code enforcement workers climbed over my back fence and gate, my locked gate, into my backyard, crossing over my lot lines according to my survey, and reclaiming 8 feet of easement, John then proceeded to explain to me that my fence and gate and raised garden and shed were on city land and needed to be removed by May 31st. My home was built in 1987, and I have not developed nor built any fence nor any other structures on this land. It's all been allowed before me. I have, however, maintained what was previously allowed to be there for the last 40 years. According to my neighbors, the city has allowed and said those sheds that are up and down our block are okay and up to code when they put them in. But now they're reclaiming this 8-foot easement after the city previously said they could build or move their sheds there. First of all, if you're going to force all tax-paying homeowners on Copperfield Drive to move their once up-to-code sheds, then we are asking that you make sure that we're not just singled out and made an example of, but that the city makes sure that the whole neighborhood, not just Copperfield, moves all sheds outside any and all city easements. Secondly, once we got together and talked, we realized that John was making promises to some. He was just individually talking up and down the neighborhood, making promises to some while giving strict restrictions and rigid restrictions to others, saying that he would work with them and allow them to move their campers in and out of their back gated yards, while telling me and others that there would be a fence, gated fence, on each end, and we would not be allowed to come in and out of the drainage easement. What's good for one should be good for all. My shed is within 1 foot of one corner of my surveyed 118.96 feet of the land I pay taxes on. That's surveyed.
Jill, thank you. You're limited to 3 minutes. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Our last speaker request is from Henry Kahala.
Hi, Kala. Thank you.
Sorry I butchered that.
No worries, thank you. Hi, my name is Henry Kaikala. It's very lovely to meet all of you. I am also a resident here on Copperfield Drive, and I will be speaking for the behalf of the entire neighborhood, all on the east side facing Copperfield. I first want to thank all of you for listening to our concerns and hope that you all understand our frustrations because it is ongoing, and about 98% of the whole neighborhood on the east side is all concerned about this, and they all have work and unable to attend. Thank you. I would like to start off. All of these neighborhoods stewards have been taking care of the land where the city and the county have let us. Previously, when the county had owned the land, a representative came out, saw what we did with the land, and they thought, wow, thank you so much for taking care of this, and have continued to let us do that until this recent precedent. I just want to stress that many of the residents there on Copperfield are elderly people, and they just aren't physically able to even move the sheds. You know, things are heavy. like the sheds and in-ground garden beds. And surely, I'm pretty sure all of us don't even have money to just pour out and just destroy it by a certain deadline. And some people just have to deal with life, like one of our neighbors just had a baby, you know? If anyone, regardless of age, had this predicament brought upon them, it would be terrible because we're all very ill prepared and unable to comply with these kinds of things, and everyone's frustrated, everyone's running around trying to figure things out, you know? Life is getting a little crazy for everyone here in Copperfield. I also want to note that nothing is physically blocking the drainage easement, and all of that, which my fellow neighbors have said, we do clean out if there's anything obstructing it. No shed, vehicle, garden is actually in the easement itself and is far away. I also want to stress that the area where the 1972 flood had occurred is not where we're at, where the flood is imminent. It's right along Rapid Creek. Some people did not have a choice of having the shed or garden in the back. They bought the house and it's there, so it's kind of hard for them to have to pay the repercussions of doing all this work when they have bought the house thinking that, oh, it was okay and it was fine as long as we kept everything nice and clean, which the neighborhood have done. I would like, and we would all like, to request for an exception, cooperation, to keep access and have the shed there to have all of our essentials for taking care of the land in the back to prevent rodents from entering the neighborhood, noxious weed, creating fires, and all of that, which, you know, could be a win for both us and the city, because one, we can maintain it without having the city intervene to pay for, you know, cleaning and all that. And I would hope you guys just think about that and let it sink in, please, for all the good people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Henry. Moving on in the agenda to our consent items.
Sir, can I give this to you?
Don't have any speaker requests for these consent items, so the public comment is closed. Can I have a motion, please, unless someone wants to pull something, to approve items 1 through 17?
Second?
All those in favor of approving consent items 1 through 17, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion passes. That's the end of the consent calendar. We'll move into non-consent items. There's no public comment for item number 18. We'll close the public comment, and we'll move into item 18. And, should I read that in? Okay. So PW 051325-17, a request from Rapid City Sports Commission for the removal of yard waste and recycling containers from the remote yard waste site located adjacent to Fitzgerald Stadium for the duration of the annual tournaments, specifically Veterans Classic from June 5th through 8th, 2025, Firecracker July 2nd through July 6th, 2025, and include 2 days before events begin and 2 days after events conclude to allow staff cleanup and resetting activities. And the recommendation is to approve. Councilman Sequist?
Thank you, Chair. I'm in support of this item. I believe it makes sense for the aesthetics and the cleanliness of the area for these events. I just would like to encourage staff to continue looking for alternate location for this purpose. That this is a lot of manpower and a lot of time and effort that is not well thought out, in my opinion, and that the community might be better served if we were able to just find a more permanent location elsewhere. Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? May I have an
Second.
adjourned?